What is going on, everyone? I hope you are doing well. Here's something fun. I got an email from a guy asking me why I always ask everyone how they're doing at the beginning of all my videos. He went on to say that he really doesn't think I care because I'm asking people knowing they can't respond to me. You can't respond to me. Anyone feels like telling me how they are, leave it in the comments. Send me an email. I don't care. This email went on to point out all the mistakes I'm making on YouTube. He said he knows because he lives in San Francisco, works in tech, and has had a YouTube channel for 8 years. I looked him up. He's got a little less than 1,500 subs and 75 videos. He's been on here for 8 years. I, on the other hand, have been on here 3. I would mention his channel, but I have a strict policy of not promoting negative a-holes. But in his honor, I thought we'd take a look at his hometown, San Francisco. San Francisco's right here in the northern section of California, right on the ocean. San Francisco was incorporated in 1850, and for many years, it was pretty much the hub of everything on the West Coast. The city of San Francisco has 883,000 residents, and the entire metro area has just under 5 million. It's crowded. Even though people are flooding out of the Bay Area, just as many, if not more, are still flooding in. Maybe you're thinking about being part of the inward flood. If you are, you should probably watch my top 10 reasons not to move to San Francisco. Number 10. What's it take to be poor? San Francisco is a very odd place to be considered broke. While the qualifications for a low income range throughout the country, it gets really weird in the city of San Francisco. To give you an idea, 13 miles away in Berkeley, having a median household income of about $70,000, you would be considered having a middle class lifestyle. In San Francisco, you would be considered very low income, like just outside the middle class. I'm talking top ramen 3 nights a week, your lights getting turned off a couple days every few months. Median household income in San Francisco is $97,000. In comparison to Dallas, Texas, which is doing really well as far as cities go, the U.S. Census Bureau lists the median household income for the Dallas-Fort Worth-Arlington metro area at $61,000. That's median. That's poor in San Francisco. Doesn't sound like it's worth it. Number 9. The beaches suck. Just because it's on the coast of California doesn't mean San Francisco has these beautiful sunny beaches. The beaches here are so foggy some days, it can even be dangerous to go in the water due to the amount of fog. The water here can get so cold that you need a wetsuit to go swimming most of the year. It just isn't what you saw in Baywatch, okay? That's going on in Los Angeles and San Diego, those places where you actually need things like sunblock and sunscreen and lotion to go to the beach. And stop typing. Yes, Santa Cruz is not too far away if you consider a 2+ hour drive to get to the beach not that far away, then yeah, it's right there. It's still pretty cold. I've been in Santa Cruz beaches a few times. I've been in the water there. I've surfed there. It's cold. Number 8. The hills. Be prepared to have sore legs in San Francisco. It's the second most hill-infested city in the world. Within the city, there's 53 hills. If you don't have a car or a bus pass, be prepared to buy new pants because your quads are going to be busting out of your jeans within a year. These aren't small hills either. They may as well be called small mountains. It's like they're cliffs with asphalt on them, and a line right down the middle. They're incredible. Any action movie filmed in the Bay Area has to include a car chase on those hills. And they're getting launched off them because they're so steep. It's almost mandatory to have one of those scenes in a movie. Number 7. The homeless. Homelessness is a major problem in San Francisco. As of the most recent study, in 2017, there was an estimated 7,500 homeless residents in the city. That's about 5% of the homeless population of the state of California. About 70% of the homeless population in San Francisco were residents of the city prior to becoming homeless. When all those tech companies started paying high-tech workers big dollars, they pretty much priced all the longtime residents out. There's a couple documentaries you could see on that one. It's kind of sucks, but I mean, it's capitalism, And then, of course, you have a buttload of people living in their cars, making $60K a year because they can't afford rent and student loans at the same time. That almost sounds like a good idea. I mean, no rent, just car insurance. It's like Geico's your landlord. Thankfully, there's over 30 shelters and services to help the residents that need it. Number 6, taxes. Taxes here stack up like crazy. Income tax brackets start at 1% and climb all the way to 12.3%. Then there's additional 1% tax for those who make over $1 million. Property taxes do, however, give you a little bit of relief. The state of California has a relatively low property tax of 0.77%. And it is ranked as the 17th lowest property tax in the country, so that's good. But since it's California, they won't give you a break on sales tax. The state sales tax is 7.25%. However, San Francisco has a local tax of 1.25%, bringing the grand total up to 8.5% sales tax in the city of San Francisco. That blows. And trust me, they've been looking for ways to jack up that property tax for years. California state government reminds me of a drug addict when it comes to taxes. They got such a good high when they started taxing people, they built a tolerance, and now they need more and more taxes to keep getting that high. I think California really just needs a good 12-step program. Number 5, parking. Parking is nearly impossible here. You'll end up feeling lucky if you find a parking spot 4 or 5 blocks down from where you need to be. Also, you'll hardly ever find free parking, so don't even waste your time circling the same 1-mile radius for a free space. There aren't any. That's a fact. If you do find one, it's probably some YouTuber just pulling a prank on you. Number 4, the cost of living. The cost of living here is absolutely ridiculous. Now, we sort of touched on this one earlier in this list, but the cost of living is such a major part of San Francisco, the numbers are too staggering not to list them by themselves. The housing index is 610% higher than the national average, and the grocery index is about 15% higher than the national average. However, the overall cost of living in the city is an average of 204% higher than the national average. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's normally bad if it's like 20 or 30% higher than the national average. It's 204% higher. The cost of living is so high here, they're starting to run out of blue-collar workers. The blue-collar workers can't afford to live here, so a lot of the jobs are going unfilled until the employers start paying them pretty much white-collar wages. That's how bad it is. Number 3, traffic. According to NBC.com, San Francisco ranks as the 5th worst traffic in the world and 3rd in the country. It is estimated that about 12% of the average resident's driving time is spent in congested traffic. To make it worse, it's estimated that the average resident spends about 79 hours a year in traffic. That's over 3 days of your year being pissed off, alone, and hoping there's a reason for all this traffic ahead, like a dead clown or something. Number 2, earthquakes. In 1906, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake completely leveled the city of San Francisco, killing 3,000 people. There wasn't that many people living there. That's a lot of the population was gone. San Francisco is one of the worst places you can live because of earthquakes. If you're afraid of them, don't move here. That's the best piece of advice I can give you. If you're from some place that doesn't have them, you will think the world is coming to an end when you experience your first earthquake. The city lies on 7 fault lines. According to the USGS, there's a 76% chance that a 7.0 or better earthquake will hit the city within the next 30 years. This is estimated to kill at least 800 people and injure up to 18,000. That's just in the city alone. That doesn't count all the outlying areas. I lived in Monterey at Fort Ord during a big one they had like in 1989. We were over 100 miles away and it broke windows and knocked lockers over. It sucked. It was scary. And number 1, it's crowded. If it already hasn't become apparent, San Francisco is overcrowded and they're still building. Houses are ridiculous here. The city is so dense that houses are nearly built on top of each other. Now, they don't have tons and tons of high-rises like New York has. They have some, but not nearly that many. They still build houses, a lot of houses, and there's no space between them. It's just horrible. I hate how this city is built. Been there several times and I can't stand it. There's no room. The prices are so high, they will continue to build until the prices drop drastically. There's just so much money in it. During the first half of 2018, the city's median household price rose $205,000. Too much money in it. During the first half of 2018, the city's median house price rose by 205%. Not rose up to 205%, it rose that much. In other words, they gain more in 1 year than Mississippi will in the next 87, which brings the new median household price to $1,600,000. That's why 64% of the residents of San Francisco rent. They can't afford to buy a house like that, and they're usually renting a studio apartment for like $2,000 to $3,000. It's nuts. All right, so that's my top 10 reasons not to move to San Francisco. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Don't forget all the links below. Hit that like button. Leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.